Good morning everybody, this is HairyMuppet and I'm going to be casting a game between CalmStorm, a Protoss player on the bottom left. He actually rolled in as random but he's ended up as Protoss, and top right Protoss player is going to be Shank. So it's going to be a PvP game. Bring up the production tab and we'll see what kind of interesting strategies these guys get up to. Yeah. So we've seen this map a few times so far. Nice, relatively easy expansion to defend here. Now this sort of thing usually favours the Protoss against the Zerg, but against the Protoss it's not really going to favour the map that much. Maybe if the defending army has Colossus, but even then it's not too much, and these will get taken down at that stage of the game very, very quickly. So we'll just have a quick look around and we'll see what's going on. We've got a scouting probe coming over here. That's a fairly early scout, but this is definitely a good tactic for this for Shank, because he's playing against a random player. He knows he's playing against a random player, so definitely going in and seeing what race the other person actually ended up with absolutely has to be done as early as possible, because you could end up going against Zerg, and if you're playing random and you end up as Zerg, it's absolutely fantastic to go for a 6-7 pull, something really early like that, because the opponent just isn't expecting it. Not only, even if they knew they were going against Zerg, they might not suspect it, but if they're going against a random, then it's a very low probability that they're going to get hit by a 6 pull, and they really wouldn't be expecting it. But he's got the scout off and he sees the Protoss is going fairly standard. In fact, he's probably going exactly the same build that he is, so extremely standard at this point. We'll just have to wait and see what happens in the later part of the game. And this is very interesting. He's managed to get his probe up there, and he's managed to get it locked in the corner. I can only assume this is going to be for a proxy pylon, and when he gets warp gates in, he can maybe put an attack force in there when the Protoss isn't expecting, take out some workers, or he may even go for the super sneaky route and put in some Dark Templar there. And if the Protoss isn't expecting it, if he gets fast DTs, then he can get it out before the enemy has even started to worry about observers or anything like that, and that's pretty much a game breaker at that point. But instead he's going for a Nexus, which is very interesting because, well, I was going to say Nexus is pretty much useless, but I mean there is that I believe it's the Mothership Core, which can do the overcharge ability on buildings, and they get that very long range attack. So if he gets a Mothership Core, which it looks like he is getting right there, and manages to overcharge this Nexus, it's basically going to be turning into a overpowered cannon with a very long range. And I just got to see this for a second. And he knows it's there, so he definitely should be pumping out some Zealots at the moment. Maybe he's waiting for warp gate tech and then he'll pump out some units, but he's got to go and he's got to take that down very quickly. It's not, maybe he doesn't know the threat that the Mothership Core's overcharge can actually pose on that building, but I mean just the scouting advantage that this gives, he's got to get rid of it. So we'll see when he uses that ability on the Nexus. Looks like he's just trying to get some cannons up at the moment, but that's not going to work against Stalkers and Zealots coming out, and he's just going to be building more and more. And so unless he puts this overcharge down on the Nexus, I'm not exactly sure how that ability works, but I think there it is. So he's doing 20 damage. It's fairly good, and this Nexus has a lot of health, so he may be able to hold this off for now, but it all comes down to how long this ability actually lasts. And I may have to check that at the end of this game and actually tell you guys how long it lasts. But it looks like it lasts quite a while, so it's going to do some damage. Maybe take out 3 or 4 units. But it was a good idea, but when you think about it, the Nexus costs 400 minerals, so it may have been cost efficient, but taking into account all those pylons and the probe and the couple of cannons, I don't think that was cost efficient at all for him to go in there. And now the red Protoss has a pretty good looking army. The blue Protoss is basically playing catch up at this point. If we look at the structures, no, it's not structures, that's spending. If you look at the structures tab, he's got 4 gateways, and this guy's only got 2 gateways. He's currently building a couple more, and he's currently building this, probably to get Blink, I'm guessing, but we'll see exactly what happens. And this push right there could well spell the end of the game for our blue Protoss at this point. He made a play and it didn't quite work out, and I believe he's just going to get wiped out here. So let's go in, take out a few of the pylons. If he takes out this pylon behind it, then all 3 of these warp gates are going to be shut down, and that's just going to be end of the game right there. There's really nothing that the blue Protoss can do at this point to try and save himself. He's overcharged the Nexus again, which will provide a fairly good deterrent, but I just don't see it happening. I believe the mothership core was taken out, so if they wanted to, the red Protoss could just back away, let this thing sort of just wind out, snipe some pylons on the edge, and they've chosen to go in and destroy the Nexus, and that's pretty much it now. I'd expect the blue Protoss to be GGing at any point in this game, because he really doesn't have a chance anymore. Although, so I missed that, he managed to get a Dark Shrine up, and he's managed to take out these units, but I mean, he's got 21 minerals left and he's got no Nexus, so he's pretty much dead. All the red Protoss has to do is get some cannons to defend his base from the Dark Templars, and he's done that, so it's pretty much game over. And we'll just gotta wait for the GG, I guess. We'll see whether these Dark Templars can actually do some damage, but I don't think they'll be able to. There we go. There's the good game, and there's the finish. So, very interesting tactic, popping a Nexus Orb over here. I don't think it's going to be a very good tactic that other players will use in the future, but all part of experimentation. You never know until you try it, and the fact that the Nexus has so much health is really makes it a good tanking cannon, sort of, but it just doesn't do enough damage to hold up against 5 or 6 units going against it. It can whittle them down, but no, I can imagine it's very good for pushing away drops from the Terrans, perhaps. If the Terrans do a drop in the back of your base, instead of having to move your army over to counter it, you just put the charge on the Nexus and just wipe them out. But as an offensive unit against the actual army, no. But anyway, this has been this game. It's been fairly short, which is good because it's not going to take me 10 hours to upload on YouTube. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you guys next time.